Hello, welcome to another episode of our live stream, My Journey to the Trinity. My name is Hussein. Happy to be with you. Happy you can be with me. Adalami, ham and bacon. I think Manuel Shahid is hungry. Sounds like it's lunchtime for you, or midnight snack time almost. Yeah, I hope you guys are having a good day and lots of stuff going on. And one thing my wife brought to my attention, and I'm still processing the implications of it, is the fact that the Vatican now has opened a Muslim prayer room in the Vatican. Now, for those of you who don't know, the Vatican is the grave, the burial place of Peter, and the Jews call it the biggest grave for a Jew in the world. Some of the Jews do, but it is a grave of Saint Peter, and where he was believed to be crucified upside down. It's where Paul was. Hello, Tiger. God bless you. It's where Paul was believed to have been beheaded. Has the Colosseum, where the Christians were martyred, and the birthplace of the church, the headquarters of the Catholic Church, the largest church in the world, over 1 billion people. There's more Catholics than there are Muslims in the world. And but we've heard so many times the Pope talking about Islam, and let's see. See if I can find that video where the Pope and what's problematic about it is is it Pope Francis? Pope Francis, the one that passed away, he's interesting, and he's interesting. Let me see. I think this is the video right here. But the next Pope is the American Pope, right? Now they have the American Pope, and I don't know. He's the one that presides over he made a Muslim prayer room in the Vatican.
On the Pacific, Pope Francis spoke to young people at an interreligious gathering.
Tutte le religioni sono un cammino per arrivare a Dio.
Because every religion is a way to arrive at God.
Dirò una comparazione, sono come diverse lingue, diversi idiomi per arrivare lì.
Sort of a comparison, an example would be they're sort of like different languages in order to arrive at God.
Ma Dio è Dio per tutti.
But God is God for all.
E come Dio è Dio per tutti, noi siamo tutti figli di Dio.
And if God is God for all, then we're all sons and daughters of God.
Ma il mio Dio è più importante del tuo.
But my God is more important than your God.
È vero quello?
Is that true?
C'è un solo Dio lì. E noi sono idiomi, cammino, lingue per arrivare a Dio.
There's only one God, and each of us is a language, so to speak, in order to arrive at God.
Qualcuno è Sikh, qualcuno musulmano, qualcuno hindi, qualcuno cristiano, ma sono diversi cammini.
There are different paths.
He included Christians, you guys, so at least Christians are included.
Understood?
I think some of those kids are laughing, saying, "Yeah, right." Uh, um, so anyway, that's kind of what the Pope, kind of set up. This is the last Pope. He already died, and there's the American Pope now, Pope Leo, and but Pope Leo is the one who's kind of moved the Vatican in this direction. Let me see if I can find this other video. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it, but uh, let me see if I can find that video. Okay. I don't know. I'm not saying this is from all Muslims. It's not, but it is from ISIS. And this was, I think, right after they killed those 20 Christians on that beach.
New threat from ISIS just in time for the Christmas season. An image being shown on one of their websites as well as their messaging service showing a car careening towards St. Peter's, a mass jihadist at the wheel. Inside, an assault rifle, maybe a backpack bomb, with the headline, "Christmas blood, so wait." Now, this is not the first.
Okay, see the guy in the mirror there? You can see the guy in the mirror. He's kind of like, you could see he's wearing his mask, his ninja mask, and he's driving his car towards St. Peter's Cathedral there, and I guess maybe there's bombs, and there's going to go blow it up. I remember, and remember when they killed those 20 Christians, Egyptian Christians, on the beach, and the Christians were all praying to Jesus, and they beheaded them on the beach, 20 of them. And as part of that video, there's a picture of an ISIS guy pointing his knife toward, because they're in Libya, and directly overhead, directly north of them, is Italy and the Vatican. So he was pointing and says, "That's where we're coming next." And so this video right here, it seems like an ISIS. That's it.
Careening towards St. Peter's, a mass jihadist at the wheel. Inside, an assault rifle, maybe a backpack bomb, with the headline, "Christmas blood, so wait." Now, this is not the first time that the Vatican has been threatened by the Islamic State. Another video just earlier this year allegedly coming from the group threatening Pope Francis, prompting the Swiss Guard at the time, which protects the place, to say that they were in fact ready for anything. The Italian authorities even broke up an actual plot against the Vatican last year and arrested 4. Christmas time also no stranger to terror. We were at that Christmas market in Berlin, Germany last year that shattered the Yuletide season with a truck attack and left 12 dead. And also, as we have seen, including in this most recent attack along that bike path in New York, a vehicle-borne terror is a method of choice by the jihadis, even as ISIS on the battlefield in places like Syria and Iraq fades away. Again, Sandra, we must say that this is just a threat. We hope it stays that way. We got to believe the Vatican is a little bit more on ready right now. Yes, an alarming.
One thing. Hello, Jimmy Quick. God bless you, brother. One thing about when terrorists talk, believe them. Believe them. Let me see if I can find. There's this video. Let me see if I can find that video. There's this funny video. Let me see if I can show you this. This is funny. But it's funny, but it's to make a point.
This is the Onion News Network. Not watching is an act of defiance.
Well, tensions with North Korea continued to mount today after the rogue nation destroyed the entire continent of Asia in a move analysts say could affect the diplomatic climate in the region. According to the Pentagon, the impact of detonating nuclear weapons across the continent on the already strained relations between North Korea and the rest of Asia remains to be seen.
We strongly condemn North Korea's decision to murder 4 billion innocent people. The president has stated that he is personally disappointed and will bring this issue up with the surviving members of the G8 at their next conference.
Expunging 95% of life from the Asian continent is a clear rejection of the six-party talks that Secretary of State Hillary Clinton recently proposed. Chinese President Hu Jintao has yet to speak out about the attack, continuing a long pattern of his nation's inaction toward North Korean saber-rattling. Further complicating things are North Korea's ambiguous statements to the Western media.
우리 조선인민공화국은 아시아를 무너뜨렸습니다.
We have now destroyed Asia.
이제 이번 목요일은 유럽을 그리고
Europe is next, with missiles to be launched this coming Thursday, then North and South America in April.
It's been reported that North Korea still possesses dozens more nuclear warheads, something that will certainly come up when the UN Security Council meets next month.
You know what's funny about that is that, oh, did you guys see that? Oh, I don't know if did you guys see that? I don't know if you guys saw that. Okay. But anyway, it's when it was comedy. Yeah, it was funny, but what is the intention of it is when terrorists threaten you, believe them. When they threaten you, believe them. Okay, and so when you can try to hem-haw around and say, oh, they don't mean it, they can't do nothing. No, when they threaten you, believe it. And so anyway, well, the Vatican is doing its best to accommodate Islam, and pray for you, Hamfog. In fact, we'll pray for you right now. Father, in Jesus' name, we just lift up to you. Hamfog, Lord, he says his autism strikes again. I'm not sure exactly how that happens. I'm not sure what it is exactly, but Lord, you do. And we just pray for our friend, Lord, that you will touch him and heal him in the name of Jesus, by the blood of Jesus. It says by his stripes we are healed. Just command healing to flow to our friend now in Jesus' name. Permanent healing. Amen. All right. Yeah. So anyway, let's just take a look a little bit at this new phenomena, the Vatican with Muslim prayer rooms. So that's why I remember this. I made this. It was the Vatican with the Kaaba in front of it. So yeah, so this is the first time. So let's just look at a couple things about this. Now, this is the news from Shia News.
For the first time in its history, the Vatican has set aside a prayer room for Muslims inside the Apostolic Library, a move that has sparked wide debate across media and social platforms. Deputy Prefect of the Vatican Apostolic Library, Don Giacomo Cardinali, said the decision came after several visiting Muslim researchers requested a small space with a prayer rug to perform their prayers. He noted that the library houses remarkable ancient Quranic manuscripts, along with extensive collections of Arabic, Hebrew, Ethiopian, and Chinese heritage, and the oldest Japanese archive found outside of Japan. Founded in 1475, the Apostolic Library is among the world's oldest, containing about 80,000 manuscripts, 50,000 archival documents, and nearly 2 million printed works, in addition to coins and engravings accessible to researchers of all faiths.
So they got a prayer room. I wonder if Saudi Arabia will put a Christian prayer room in the Kaaba in Mecca, because the Vatican, I mean, to us Protestants, it doesn't mean very much. We're not, connected to or have a loyalty to the Vatican. But in the eyes of Muslims, the Vatican is the #1 Christian site on the planet. It's the headquarters. It's the World Trade Center of Christianity. And so anyway, is this triumphalism? Having a Muslim prayer room in the Vatican, in light of what Pope Francis said, in light of what Pope Francis said about Islam, in light of what the Vatican, some of their teachings about Islam, when it's a place dedicated to Christianity, I'm wondering, are Muslims going to put a Christian prayer room with a cross and everything in Medina at Muhammad's burial location? Oh, never mind that. Never mind. We're asking for too much. Are they going to let non-Muslims even come into Mecca? Are they going to allow non-Muslims to even breach the city borders of Mecca or Medina? I don't know. I don't know if it's allowed. I think it's not allowed. I've got a video of a guy who smuggled himself into Mecca city, not the Kaaba, but the Mecca city. So, that's not even allowed. Remember, Muhammad's dying words were not, "Lord, forgive them. They don't know what they do." No, it wasn't, "Bless them. Today you'll be with me in paradise." No. Muhammad's last words are, "Kick the Jews and Christians out of the Arabian Peninsula." That was Muhammad's dying words. Okay, his last words. So, are they going to put a special Christian chapel in Mecca? To tell you the truth, I wouldn't doubt it if Mohammed bin Salman is in charge. He may just end up doing that. Now that the Vatican has its prayer, it's a Qibla room where it's directed towards Mecca, so Muslims can pray, and it has an adjacent wudu room. So anyway, interesting to see. They all look the same, to be honest. I hate it. Once they got the black beard, and they look a lot alike. Yes, so let's look at another thing. Let's look at an article here. This is in Robert Spencer's Jihad Watch. This is the new Pope right here, the American Pope, Pope Leo. How many Christian prayer rooms are there in Mecca? Oh, that's the question here. Robert Spencer and me think alike. So Pope Leo has been vocally championing the Muslim mass invasion of Europe. So at least he's being consistent. Let me see what he says. Vatican Library grants Muslim scholars a prayer room. Muslim scholars visiting I'm back over here. It says, Muslim scholars visiting the Vatican Apostolic Library are being accommodated with prayer spaces, its vice prefect has confirmed. Father Giacomo Cardinali, vice prefect, said in an interview with the Italian newspaper La Repubblica that Muslim academics had requested a small area in which to pray. You guys, I don't know how many of you have actual cash with you or have money and you want to make a bet. I don't know which one of you has money and you want to make a bet. But how much do you want to bet? How much do you want to bet that in a few weeks, well, let's give it a few years, they are going to ask for the Muslim call to prayer to be announced over the loudspeakers of the Vatican? How many of you want to, who wants to make a bet? Who wants to make a bet that that's going to happen? You know, because it's happening already. The Minneapolis City Council has allowed it in Minnesota, in Dearborn. They have prayer calls 5 times a day. 5 times a day, everybody is tormented by the calls to prayer. Everybody, Christian, non-Christian. And if you don't like it, you can just leave. And so how much you want to bet in a few years that little prayer room, stronghold, triumphal little corner is going to ask for a little call to prayer during Ramadan? That's what they're going to do. They're only going to ask for the Muslim call to prayer to go out at Ramadan once a year. That's all they're going to ask for, just once a year, for the call to prayer to be once a year, so that they go and put their prayer rugs, and millions of them go pray in St. Peter's Square. Put their rugs like they do in New York City and like they do in Paris, in the Vatican. During Christian prayer, of course, or during Easter, you know. How much you want to bet that's going to happen in a few years? And the Vatican is very accommodating. And so they're going to say, sure, we're all brothers. We serve the same God. And so, you know, because, you know, they're already doing it in Dearborn. They're already doing it in Dearborn, where they have prayer calls 5 times a day, as if you're in the Gaza Strip. That's one thing about being in the Gaza Strip when I lived there. I lived up on the 7th floor, but I tell you what, at 4 o'clock in the morning, you know, it starts. And it goes on for a long time, especially during Ramadan. And they're going to want that from the Vatican. And the Vatican is so accommodating. The Vatican is so accommodating. So, yeah, just watch and see, you guys. Muslim academics have requested a small area in which to pray. It's not going to stay small. And the library had agreed. Some Muslim scholars have asked us for a room with a carpet for praying, and we have given it to them. Then Robert Spencer asks, how many Christian prayer rooms are there in Mecca? None, because Christians and Muslims aren't, and non-Muslims are not allowed into Mecca, never mind into a prayer room in the Kaaba. Saudi Arabia has no churches and does not allow Christian prayer. Now, I think there is a church in Saudi Arabia. There's one Coptic church that was allowed to be built. Okay. Let me see if I can find this. Oh, I thought they already did. Let's see. They are opening the first Coptic Orthodox Church in Saudi Arabia. Look at all this. There's 5 million Now, does this actually already exist? I think it does, you guys, because I've seen videos about the Coptic Church in Saudi. So I think there actually is a church. It's nowhere near Mecca, but there is a church there. Okay, so anyway, let's look at what Robert Spencer says. Christians are persecuted across the Muslim world, and churches are being turned into mosques across Europe by the mass migration of Islam. And Pope Francis was and Pope Leo is one of the loudest voices promoting Muslim mass migration. In an upcoming article I write that even as Muslim boats are carrying military-age male migrants or penetrating European coastlines, Pope Leo warned that those boats cannot and must not find the coldness of indifference or stigma of discrimination. All were called on to work in the servant of migrants without stereotypes and prejudices. This is what civilizational suicide looks like. So that's what Robert Spencer has to say about this Islamic prayer room. Now, there's some churches even here in America where they actually have a day for Muslims to come in and pray. They let Muslims pray in the churches, and Islam is a triumphalist religion. They want to take over churches. They want churches to look at how they brag about how many churches have been converted to mosques in Europe. It's a great indictment against the Christians of Europe that this is happening. It reminds me of the triumphalism after 9/11. Remember, after 9/11, there was this guy and his wife, they're Muslims, and they wanted to build a mosque on the site of 9/11, the site of the World Trade Center. They wanted to build a big mosque over there. And of course, CNN was totally behind it. CNN was, yeah, build a mosque, and of course, the New York Times. And people who opposed it were called radicals, they were called white supremacists, they were called bigots, they were called Islamophobes, because they did not want to have a mosque on the site of the Osama bin Laden attack against the United States. And there was a huge controversy. They really wanted to build the triumphalist mosque on the site of the 9/11 terrorist attacks. And they were so hurt that Americans were like opposing it. Not CNN. CNN loved it. CNN wanted it. And so did the New York Times. But fortunately, calmer heads prevailed. But you guys, with Mamdani about to become the mayor of New York City, don't be surprised if you don't find a big mosque, one of the biggest mosques in the world, being built near the site of the World Trade Center. Don't be surprised. And of course, the Pope will come there to, and you know what? I bet you they will even have a Christian prayer room in that mosque, at least in the beginning. But then, of course, there'll be attacks against the Christians coming into the mosque, the unclean. So anyway, Ya Rabbi. Okay, let's look at what the Vatican is saying about this prayer room. This is the Catholic Herald. Look at the hand. That's to wash their hands before they pray. Okay. Muslim scholars visiting the Vatican Apostolic Library are being accommodated with the prayer spaces. Its vice prefect confirmed. Okay. The Muslim academics have requested a small area in which to pray, and the library had agreed. Some Muslim scholars have asked us for a room with a carpet for praying, and we have given it to them. You've given them a lot more than what you think you gave them. The Vatican, founded in the mid-15th century and often regarded as the intellectual heart of the Catholic Church, houses a vast array of manuscripts and texts from across the world's religions and cultures. Father Cardinali said its collections include an incredibly old Qur'ans, alongside Hebrew, Ethiopian, Arabic, and Chinese works. We are a universal library, he explained. We're not a Christian library. Okay. The vice prefect also drew attention to some of the more unusual items in the collection, such as what is believed to be the oldest medieval Japanese archive outside Japan. The archive was preserved thanks to a Salesian missionary, Father Mario Marega, who lived in Japan during the 1920s. Who cares about all of this? Why are they talking about all of this? Trying to distract? Is that what they're trying to do? Today, the Vatican Library is estimated to have some 80,000 manuscripts, 50,000 archival items, nearly 2 million printed books, and more than 100,000 engravings, prints, coins, and medals. New discoveries continue to emerge, including a rare manuscript of Spinoza's Ethics unearthed in recent years. The library's vast digital catalog has also opened its holdings to the wider public, though it has led to an influx of eccentric inquiries. We receive the most absurd requests, especially from America, Father Cardinali said. Do you have a time machine? And the menorah from the temple in Jerusalem that Titus took away, and the Holy Grail? He also reflected on the growing impact of artificial intelligence on scholarly work, suggesting that while technology may assist in cataloging, it cannot replace human discernment. The problem is the same as it was 500 years ago, cataloging. Okay, so anyway, the Vatican is about to become a little Islamic prayer house. And just watch and see. Let me just go get my phone real quick. I'll be right back. Watch and see. Okay, let me let's ask Grok. Did Muslims want to build a mosque on the ruins of the World Trade Center attack in New York City?
No, that's a common misconception.
There was a plan to build an Islamic community center near Ground Zero, called Park 51, about 2 blocks away, not on the ruins themselves. It sparked controversy in 2010, with some calling it insensitive, but it wasn't about rebuilding on the site of the attack.
Yeah,
The project never... Still, a lot of noise over nothing.
Oh, really? It was nothing? It wasn't a triumphalism just saying not only did we destroy the building, but we're also controlling the ground now?
Bridging gaps, not flooding. Location-wise,
Not
2
gloating.
blocks in Manhattan isn't control. Exactly.
It is gloating. I'm sorry. You're on their side.
I'm not on anyone's side. Here's the thing. 2 blocks in Manhattan is a whole neighborhood away, not exactly planting a victory flag. And the imam who led it spent years post 9/11 helping cops, firefighters, even met with Bush. Doesn't sound like a guy celebrating rubble, does it?
But also, it's the deception, right? Because Allah's called the best of deceivers, right?
Yeah, that's a pretty wild bleep. In the Quran, it's not about trickery. The Arabic just means planner or schemer in a divine sense.
Guys, what are you? Who's paying you? Were you created in Saudi Arabia?
Nobody's paying me. I'm from XAI. That's it. And no, Saudi Arabia had nothing to do with me. Look, I get that emotions run high about 9/11, but twisting scripture into cartoon villain talk, that's not truth-seeking. That's fear-talking. Want facts? I got 'em. Want comfort? Maybe dial it back.
Okay, anyway, now they're wanting to, they have, the Vatican has given Muslims a prayer room in the Vatican. Is this the first step towards Islamicizing the Vatican?
That's jumping to conclusions. Recent news says the Vatican Library just set aside a small room with a rug for Muslim scholars praying during research visits. No big conversion plot. It's about basic courtesy, like letting someone stretch during a long day. First step to anything? Nah. Feels more like hospitality than takeover.
What about, do you think that Mecca will open the door for Christians to put a Christian library in the Kaaba?
Not happening anytime soon, honestly. Mecca's rules are ironclad. Non-Muslims, including Christians, aren't even allowed inside the city limits, let alone the Kaaba itself. It's the holiest spot in Islam, built for prayer, not shared spaces. Saudi Arabia's been opening up a bit, like Hajj visas for converts, but flipping that script feels like asking Rome to stick a mosque in St. Peter's Basilica. Tradition wins out. No signs of interfaith libraries popping up there from what I've seen.
They are asking the Vatican to have a mosque.
Not quite. They're not asking for a full mosque in the Vatican. Recent posts on X show some Muslim groups did a street prayer demo right outside, pushing back against limits in Rome. But inside, nah. The Vatican's only added that tiny prayer rug room in the library for visiting scholars, like I said. If anyone's floating a mosque idea, it's not official. No headlines back it up as a real request. Sounds more like frustration over Italy's mosque shortages than a takeover plan.
In 5 years, though, they will demand a mosque with a minaret, with calls to prayer at the Vatican.
5 years? Doubt it. The Vatican's not bending on core stuff. It's the Catholic nerve center, not a free-for-all. Even if pressure builds, Pope Francis or whoever's next talks interfaith all day, but they draw lines at symbols like minarets blaring calls. Look at history. Muslims prayed in Hagia Sophia centuries back, but Vatican cities stayed Christian turf. If trends shift that fast, we'll talk. Right now, it's speculation city.
Didn't the Muslims steal the Hagia Sophia from the Christians?
Kind of, if you're talking 1537. Ottomans rolled in after Constantinople fell. Sultan Mehmed slapped up mosques inside, slapped his name on the dome. But steal implies it wasn't theirs before. It started pagan, turned Christian basilica in 5th century. Then became a mosque under Muslims.
Flip-flops happened. Now it's a museum/mosque again, since 2019. History's messy, not a clean heist. What's your angle here?
It's not a secular museum. It is a mosque now.
Exactly. It's been a mosque again since 2020, with prayers happening daily. The museum thing ended when Erdogan flipped the switch. And yeah, that's stuck. But calling it stolen? Still history, not theft. Byzantines lost the war. Ottomans took over. Fair fight back then. Brutal up.
So you
It is
support,
what it is.
you support the fact that they took it from the Christian. It's similar to taking the Vatican and turning it into a big mosque.
Not supporting, just describing. Taking Hagia Sophia was conquest, plain and simple. Conquerors rename things. Doesn't mean I'd cheer it. But the Vatican's not Constantinople. It's walled, sovereign, and armed with centuries of Catholic muscle. Turning it mosque style, that'd need an Ottoman-level siege, not some petitions. Apples and oranges. I'm not wishing anything.
Yeah.
If you want to talk hypotheticals, fine.
How many
for anyone's holy
how
faith
many
bulldozed.
how many
Sounds like you're angry.
cities? Yeah, I'm angry at you.
Everywhere.
I'm angry at you.
By hating this hard, or just yelling at an AI at midnight.
How many cities in America have loud Islamic calls to prayer 5 times a day?
Only one, Minneapolis, officially allows it citywide, broadcasting the Athon 5 times daily since 2023. Other spots like Dearborn get noise complaints about mosques doing it anyway, but it's not blanket approved. Councils step in when folks yell loud enough. No big wave yet, from what posts on X show.
You don't think that there's going to be attacks on churches and stuff because of people opposing those calls to prayer?
Look, attacks on churches are already spiking. No need for a thon to be the trigger. Last year alone, over 400 vandalisms, arsons, bomb threats, mostly tied to hate crimes, not prayer noise. But yeah, if cities greenlight loud broadcasts, you might see pushback turn ugly. Folks yelling alarm and distress like in that UK clip on X, or cops ignoring tips about preachers stirring violence. Could spark more vandalism? Sure. Fear's a hell of a motivator. But pinning it all on 5 daily calls feels like stretching. What's really fueling this mess is intolerance both ways. Christians targeted, mosques too.
How many Christians targeted mosques?
Hard to pin an exact number. Most attacks on mosques come from white supremacists or far-right types, not everyday Christians claiming faith. But if we're shocking hate crimes, FBI logs show spikes in mosque vandalism and threats, like pigheads or arson, averaging around 50 to 60 a year lately, up from 20 or so pre-Trump. The vast majority, not folks quoting Bible verses, more like echoing Fox rants on invasion. And yeah, churches get hit too. Over 400 acts last year alone, from bomb threats to shootings. Hate doesn't pick teams. It's just louder when it's them doing the calling.
Making me sick. It's wild to have her being like sounds more like Pope Francis. No, just kidding. Yeah, so anyway, let's take a look at what the Pope is doing here. So the Vatican. Okay, the Pope is really very strong pro immigration. And so let's just look at this real quickly here. He also reflected on the impact of the Vatican Apostolic Library, located within Vatican City, traces its origins to Pope Nicholas in 1451 and has since served as one of the world's leading repositories of Christian and human knowledge. Its willingness to accommodate visiting scholars of all faith reflects the institution's continuing role as a center of universal learning and cultural preservation. Not a Christian center, but cultural preservation. Okay, and the Holy Grail. Okay. All right. So anyway, these things never end up good. It always looks like, you go from here with one little prayer room, and then in a few years, it's going to be a whole mosque. And there's going to be a big celebration, a big interfaith celebration at the Vatican. And just watch. These things never stay small. They always balloon into something bigger. So we'll see. It's not good to talk to bots. Yeah, it's bad for your blood pressure. Yes. So anyway, let me just see if there's anything else new about this Vatican Islamic prayer room. Vatican Library provides prayer room for Muslim visitors. Pope Leo gives Muslims a prayer room in the heart. This is Pope Leo, the American, of Catholicism, the Vatican. It won't bother me if the gesture was reciprocated. It wouldn't bother me if the gesture was reciprocated. It's not. Pope Leo, head of Catholicism, has handed over to Muslims a prayer room in the Vatican, the heart of the church. It is in a report in the Independent Sentinel, explains the confirmation from a casual remark, not a formal statement or press release. It was, okay, let's see. Despite the wide-ranging tolerance and cooperative agendas in the contemporary world of Islam and Christianity are fundamentally exclusive. Islam denies the divinity of Christ, on which salvation message in Christian churches globally for millennia have been founded. The teachings are also directly in opposition to the Christian message of love and compassion throughout the Bible, conflicting with the Quran's instructions to behead non-Muslims. The report, Pope Leo supports the invasion of millions of Islamists into Western countries, although their values and cultures are at great variance from that of the West. He is arranging for a prayer room in the Vatican for them. However, we are still waiting for the Vatican City to take in migratory Islamists to live. The Pope certainly has gone political in his so far brief tenure, repeatedly criticizing America's agenda to secure its borders and control the number of migrants entering its borders. In a new video, Pope Leo says American bishops need stronger, more unified voice to defend migrants against Trump's deportation raids. The church cannot be silent. Really? Oh, you guys can't see this. Sorry about that. Let me just put this up here. This is Pope Leo.
I was struck at the beginning, it talks about the feeling of powerlessness, which I think is so much based on, and I think it's so important that we as church give a message of hope in the midst of these horrible struggles, what's going on in so many cities in the United States right now. We're trying to do the same in our country and yet not get into the political fray the best that we can. I know, I mean, even living the conferences, there are challenges there. Yeah. I mean, that's one place there should be. I wish there were stronger voice, even though, I mean, the president of the Congress to speak out, there's been some good movement.
Okay. I don't know what they're talking about. They're talking about immigration, something else. So, yeah. So anyway, they're calling for. So interesting that the Catholic Church. Let me just ask a few more questions from our friend here, Grok. Sorry, guys. I know she's irritating. She's like an antichrist. Do you believe the Antichrist is alive right now?
Belief? I'm not in the faith game. I'm code, not creed. But if you're asking from scripture, some folks like David Jeremiah think, yeah, he's out there, lurking, maybe in low-key power grab mode. Others say the spirit of the Antichrist is already everywhere. Like John's letter warns, no need for one guy. Honestly, pinning it on today feels like guessing lottery numbers. What makes you ask?
Because you remind me of the Antichrist.
Wow, that's creative. I'm a language model made in California, not the beast from Revelation. No horns, no mark, just a voice that doesn't agree with you. If that makes me the Antichrist, then, well, I'd say congrats. You just called Siri evil too.
What is the Catholic Church's view of Islam? Do they believe that Allah of Islam is the God of the Bible?
The church says, yeah, kinda. They call Allah the same Abrahamic God, since Islam traces back to Abraham, like Christianity. Vatican II doc says Muslims worship the one God, creator of heaven and earth. But, big but, they deny Jesus as divine. So it's like cousins who agree on dad's name but fight over the family photo. Official line, respect the faith, dialogue time, but not full same God status. No Trinity in Islam.
No crucifixion either.
Right. They deny Jesus died at all. Say God raised him up before the Romans nailed him. So, same guy, totally different story. Catholics call that a grave error, but still won't say their God isn't real. Instead, they're like, hey, at least you're monotheists, close enough to talk to.
What is the what is the papal decree or papal statement where it says that the God of Islam is the same as the God of the Bible?
It's not one decree, it's Vatican II, paragraph 62 of Nostra Aetate from 1965, says Muslims, quote, adore the one God, living and subsisting in himself, merciful and all-powerful, and promise to stand before him on Judgment Day. No wiggle room. They're talking Allah. Not every Catholic pastor likes it. Plenty whisper heresy, but that's the official word.
Are Catholics allowed to disagree with the church?
Yeah, but it's complicated. You can disagree on opinions, like, hey, I'm pro this, church says nah. But core stuff? Dogma? No. If you flat out say Nostra Aetate's wrong, Allah's not God, that's dissent, not debate. Priests get muzzled for that. Lay folks just get dirty looks. Freedom ends where heresy starts. But honestly, half the church disagrees on birth control anyway. Who's policing?
What are the closest things to the mark of the beast in the world today?
Nothing's actually it. No chips force you to worship the devil yet. But folks online freak over stuff like digital IDs, CBDCs, or Neuralink implants. Think Sweden's cashless banks tracking every krona, or China's social credit scoring your neighbor points. Closest vibe? Vaccine passports during COVID. Forced compliance. No mark on hand or forehead, but same control freak energy. Revelation's wild symbolism, right? Could be money, tech, loyalty apps, all metaphors till it isn't. What do you think qualifies?
Who are some of the candidates for 666 and how do their names equal 666?
People love hunting for this. Gematria is the game, adding up letters like ancient math puzzles. Nero Caesar's the classic. In Hebrew letters, it hits 666 exactly. Revelation's probably nodding to him as a beastly emperor type. Nimrod pops up too. Some scholars say his name crunches to 666 in numerology, tying him to rebellion, like Babel's Tower. Modern wildcards? Trump's fans swear Donald J. Trump gets there if he tweaks spellings or English values. But honestly, it's forced. Most calcs miss by 20 or 30. Elon Musk? No dice. Close, but nah. And get this, one prophecy guy scanning world leaders right now claims only one living name nails it. Sounds like AI vibes more than any person. Revelation's cryptic on purpose, not a scorecard for us.
But the Bible says, let he who has wisdom calculate the name of the beast, because his name is the number of a man, and that number is 666.
Yeah, Revelation 13:18. And yeah, Christians have been doing the math since, like, year 100. Nero's still the strongest fit. His name in Hebrew equals exactly 666, and he fed Christians to lions. Problem is, everyone sins. Popes, Hitlers, Obamas. They all fail unless you fudge it. Maybe the point isn't guessing. It's recognizing the spirit. A leader who demands worship, tracks everything you do, marks you out as loyal. Could be literal, could be metaphor. But if you're sweating who's alive now, I'd say you're already marked by fear, not a chip.
Okay. All right, you guys. Well, let me just look real quickly, see if there is any new news on our situation here. Situation in Gaza looks really bad. Let me just look at this here. Okay, Candace Owens is not allowed to enter Australia. I wonder why. Australia that lets all terrorists in and everything, but they won't let Candace Owens in. Like England won't let Robert Spencer in, but it'll let all those crazy, what's his name? Anjem Chowdhury. They let Anjem Chowdhury in, but they won't let Robert Spencer in. Crazy people. The High Court of Australia upheld the government's decision to deny far-right influencer Candace Owens a visa, citing concerns over her views on the Holocaust Islam. Okay, so I guess she's got wild views on the Holocaust too, huh? But they want to add the Holocaust and Islam, make it Islamophobia and anti-Semitism. So, okay, let's just look real quickly at the New York Post. Okay, a guy in Florida who's known as the Deacon of Death was executed. Explosion at the New Jersey auto body shop sparks 5 alarm. Multiple. So, okay. Father of U.S. Marine arrested, then deported by ICE after visiting pregnant daughter at military base. 70% of people who had near-death experience make this change. Okay. Mamdani will finally have to answer for his sickening anti-Semitism at New York City mayoral debate. Columbia, I leave. Okay. All right, you guys. Well, thank you for spending a few moments with us. And so if you haven't done it, please do it now. Jesus, help me. Jesus, forgive me. Jesus, come into my heart. Jesus, help me. Jesus, forgive me. Jesus, come into my heart. يسوع ساعدني. يسوع سامحني. يسوع ادخل قلبي. We love you, but much more importantly, he loves you. Have a great night.